for a trainer. So that's when Lester Mount said, well, I know a guy named Angelo Dundee, works with a lot of fighters.
Johnson was off balance, but he was hit too.
The young heavyweight already has much of the style that will later make him famous, but his mastery of ring craft is far behind.
Ali was really not ready as a fighter at all. I mean, you know, he was very clumsy. I mean, he did great things naturally, but I mean, they were feeding him dead men.
Cassius Clay, the white trunks, Alonzo Johnson in black. On our unofficial scorecard, Clay is way ahead. There have been no knockdowns. Let's see what they call that. That's the third time Johnson's been down, but there have been no official knockdowns.
There was a period, like all guys who are great prospects, and in fact they're going to be great fighters, and you know they're going to be great fighters. Well, you don't put them in with great fighters. There's a learning process.
Mitchell's left eye, closing rapidly. Trickle of blood below it. That's Mitchell down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He doesn't know where he is. They're going to stop it, and they should.
Once Ali himself knew that he really had learned his trade and knew the nuances of it, then these museum guards and unemployed shepherds that he was fighting disappeared into the night, and he began to fight real people.
Cassius Clay, Sonny Banks. Very tough fight. A nothing to win kind of a fight. The media didn't know him. I knew the guy was a great left hooker. I warned Muhammad about him being a converted southpaw. He didn't listen too good because he got nailed with a perfect left hook.
Cassius Marcellus Clay is but 20 years old, but he's making a strong imprint on the sport of pugilism. As an amateur in 1960, he won the AAU light heavyweight, the Golden Gloves heavyweight, and the Olympic light heavyweight crowns. As a professional, he has won all 10 bouts, scoring 7 knockouts. Lucian Sonny Banks is 21 years old. In 12 starts, Banks has won 10, scoring 9 knockouts. Round 1, 10 rounds scheduled. Clay in the white trunks and Banks in black. Clay is the most loquacious heavyweight since Jack Sharkey. He's ranked 9th by Ring Magazine. Banks is unranked.
Young Clay already has many of his signature skills. The jitterbug footwork, the stinging jab, the machine gun flurries of punches, the uncanny knack for dodging blows. But against Sonny Banks, he shows off one more gift, an iron jaw.
Ruby Goldstein, the referee. There goes Clay on the floor. He's got to take the mandatory 8 count.
I knew that night there was greatness in Muhammad Ali because he got nailed with a perfect left hook coming in, got knocked down. He was out on the way down. He woke up once his backside hit that canvas, he got up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. That's when I knew I had a guy with greatness because remarkable how he survived that one punch.
The man yelling, "Stay in there," is Bill Faversham, one of 11 Louisville businessmen who managed Cassius Clay.
God, he was exciting. That's why the fans really, really enjoyed seeing Cassius Clay because he should throw punches and flurries. Like I should say, he used to fight like a featherweight in a big man's body with the quickness.
Banks is in real trouble. But he can punch it back yet. 30 seconds left in the round. Seconds to go in round 3. Hold everything, hold everything. Ruby Goldstein is asking the commission physician, Dr. Alexander Schiff, to come in and take a look at Sonny Banks, who had took quite a going over from Cassius Clay in the last round. Round 4. Goldstein is stopping the fight. for Cassius Clay, coming from behind after being floored in the first round.
Yes, that was my first time knocked down as a professional, and I had to get up to take care of things after that because it was rather embarrassing me on the floor. And as you know, I think that I'm the greatest, and I'm not supposed to be on the floor, so I had to get up and put him on out in 4, as I predicted.
Even more than his featherweight-like flourishes, it is his bravado and his outrageous antics that set him apart. No fighter has ever had the nerve to call the round of his next knockout. Clay is ready to fight his most impressive opponent so far, his former trainer, Archie Moore.
Well, I realize that Archie's a great fighter. Archie is a great old fighter. But Archie Moore is going around popping off, and he's inventing a lip buttoner for me. See, I've earned a reputation as the Louisville Lip. Well, since he's going to invent a punch called the lip buttoner, and I'm the one who usually does the popping off, but he's starting. So I cut this from 8 rounds to 4 rounds.
This Archie Moore with Cassius Clay was the theory that he was beating his trainer. But the thing was that Muhammad had 16 fights, Archie Moore like a 213 fights. And the age of the old mongoose was always a secret, but I think he was in his 40s, middle 40s, maybe late 40s, but nobody ever knew how old Archie Moore was. But the speed and the steadiness really took its toll on Archie. I think the people were impressed with it because they figured, kid with 16 fights, how can he overcome all that experience?
And again, Clay celebrates. He's having trouble getting to his feet. He's up. Clay ready to come in and finish the show. A left again, wild left hooks, and he's down. Down for a 3rd time, the former light heavyweight champion.
Clay is 16-0 when he wins in the 4th, just as he predicted. By now, the 20-year-old has his gaze firmly on heavyweight champion Sunni Islam. The fact that he still has to face Doug Jones seems only a formality. Jones is condemned to fall in 6.
Cassius, during the past few weeks, you've been centering your interest around these squabbles you've been having with Sunni Islam down here. You've got to fight Doug Jones. Don't you think it's about time you started concentrating on this boy? He's a pretty good fighter.
No, I'm not concentrating on Doug Jones. He's nothing but a bum. Sunni Islam is the man I want. I'm not thinking about Doug Jones. Jones will fall in 6, and I might cut it to 3.
You know, if this boy upsets you, you've had it as far as...
If Jones upset me, I will retire.
I know that you're perhaps all aware that this committee has made a rough draft of a proposed bill that would, in effect, outlaw boxing, professional boxing in the state of New York.
So the New York State legislature had a subcommittee that was investigating the abolishment of boxing in New York State. It was headed by a state assemblyman named Haywood Plumador.
You have been giving some predictions about which round you would win in. Don't you think that these predictions that you're making and the fact that the last few fights have happened to end in the exact round that you stay have created a bad image of the general public of boxing?
See, the thing about boxing, and Ali was very, very smart, he knew this too. The thing about boxing is you always grab a headline because nobody cares whether it's abolished. Nobody cares whether it stays. Because if you abolish it, they'll go fight on barges and everybody will go to see them anyway, so what's the difference? But when you want a headline, you do this.
It is on record that I predicted 8 rounds on Archie Moore. He talked and talked and talked, so I cut it to 4. Now, I have had 11 fights, 11 of them I predicted just what would happen. Now, would you say that all of these people are crooks, all of the promoters are crooks?
I asked you the question.
Well, that's just up to you to figure. I tell the people that I'm the greatest. So if I say he's going to fall in 5 and he falls in 5, well, that just makes me that much greater. Will it be a fix when Doug Jones falls in 6? I have predicted 6 on Doug Jones. Now, if he falls in 6, what would you say? That's another fix, huh?
I would say that there was an odor in the air.
The thing that I will most never forget about it is, A, they didn't ban boxing, which they weren't going to do anyway, but B, Haywood Plumador, the gentleman who was doing the questioning, the state legislator, the first thing he did after the cameras stopped rolling and the hearing was over was to go to Muhammad Ali, then Cassius Clay, and say, please, Mr. Clay, would you mind posing with me for a picture?
A gag order imposed by New York's Boxing Commission does little to suppress Clay's message.
Two fights before he became champion were critical fights. Sonny Banks and Doug Jones. And you can make the case, which I don't personally subscribe to, but you could arguably make the case that both fights, the losers were jobbed. And with those 2 fights were 2 major fights in him getting to fight Liston for the title.
But the Louisville Lip, as Clay is now called, has trouble with Jones from the opening bell. And the 19,000 fans jammed into Madison Square Garden sense a big upset. Round 4 was his revised prediction. but Clay seems unable to find his rhythm.
Continues to come forward. There's some of that movement to the left by Clay, but Jones is not buying it. He seems to have an answer.
When the fourth round ends without a knockout, the crowd turns against him.
10th and final round. Right hand by Clay. Another right. He's trying to close impressively, but Jones is standing right there and countering. Backing up Clay against the ropes again. This has been a struggle for Clay. Jones continuing to stalk him. And Clay ties him up again.
The fight is too close to call. On ringside, there is much speculation that Clay has lost. But both judges score at 5-4-1 Clay, and the referee makes it a unanimous decision. Still undefeated, Clay is gearing up for his title shot.
Following a Florida evening spent watching Cassius Clay score a narrow victory over Doug Jones, heavyweight champion Sonny Liston resumes training at Miami Beach for his return bout with Floyd Patterson. After viewing that New York fight, Liston said that should he meet up with Clay, he's likely to be locked up for murder. Meanwhile, at Tropical Park in Miami, modest Floyd Patterson, the only fighter ever to regain the heavyweight title, tends to his training, abstaining from the battle of words that's erupted between the champion and contender Clay. Conditioning to do for the second time what no one has ever done even once. Floyd pursues time-honored boxing training exercises to perfect his footwork and his punching powers. He's confident that after his second meeting with Liston, he'll again affix the big title after his name.